Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Skip Bayless, the truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. Now, if you're new to my channel, this might be different for you. It's a reason why we're not monetized. We tell the truth. We talk how we want to talk. And you're going to hear some stuff that most YouTubers will not tell you. Most of your monetized channels will only tell you basically what the next monetized YouTube channel is telling you also. So this is a channel that's totally off script, as my subs know. And a lot of new subs that always come to my channel, they always say, man, I didn't even know your channel existed. You got a good channel, man. It's underrated. And you got to remember, YouTube does not want my channel monetized because I'm not talking like the other guys. We're not talking about cussing. We're not talking about saying filthy stuff. We're talking about telling stuff that nobody else will talk about because they want to stay in line with the rest of these guys and get this money. A lot of these guys don't do it for the love of their channel, the love of whatever their channel is about. Maybe it's about NBA. A lot of these guys are only in it for the money. Haven't made a penny off of this yet. And maybe you might not like my channel. That's fine. It's cool. But if you like something different, if you like something real, uncut, raw, welcome. So Skip Bayless, whether you like him or not, he's the king of the debate. Whether you like him or not. Without Skip Bayless, there's no Shannon Sharp, there's no Nick Wright, there's no Chris Broussard, there's none of these Rob Parkers. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think Part in the Interruption was out at the time. You might want to go check back on it. And a lot of these guys without Skip Bayless wouldn't be well off today. They might have did something else in journalism. I'm not trying to say they'll be on welfare or on food stamps. A lot of these YouTube channels without Skip Bayless, they won't be making this money. For better or worse, Skip Bayless has made a lot of people money. Even LeBron James. Imagine if Skip Bayless never would have popped up. LeBron never would have had this much sympathy. A lot of people just would have saw it for what it was on SportsCenter and just been like, man, that dude's bad. He's not one of the clutch players of all time. He's good. He's great. But he just keep falling short. That's what they would have said from their own minds when they watched SportsCenter like we did in the past before it was any debate shows or anything like that, right? But it was Skip Bayless who really put the pedal to the metal on this guy. LeBrick, the king without a ring. And people really felt sorry for LeBron because Skip was going in on him so bad. Because LeBron was not a villain back then in Cleveland, right? He was not this bad guy. Go see my video about Kobe and LeBron James. YouTube is going to continue to suppress it because these are the words from Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, how they felt about each other on the court and off the court. From interviews, together, separate, all kind of things. This is from these guys. So I just made it a few days ago. Go check it out. And LeBron was never a bad guy. He was always the good guy, the funny guy. We were looking for some more great NBA players because they was dying out. The Karl Malones, the John Stocktons were already died out. The Ewings, the Barkleys, the Magics, the Birds, the Clyde Drexlers, the Isaiah Thomases, the Dennis Rodmans, the Scotty. The list goes on and on. These are the guys that took the game global in the 90s. Saved the game in the 80s. We needed the game to keep continuing. But it didn't. The ratings plummeted. Plummeted. Because we could see with the '04 Olympic team, the '06 FIBA team, these guys did not have the same fundamentals, didn't recognize the same X's and O's that needed to be done on the court, and didn't have the same love of the game. Let me explain to you. You know how it took Shaq until 2000 just to win a championship, the most dominant player of all time. He was getting swept by the Utah plumbing crew. Embarrassed. Swept all through the 90s, like 6 times. Got all these gentlemen sweeps. The most dominant player of all time. Michael Jordan was getting swept. He was losing and losing. Hakeem was losing and losing and losing. David Robinson was losing and losing and losing. Am I saying anything bad about these guys that was losing? No, I'm not. Even Isaiah Thomas was getting beat up in the 80s. I'm saying the competition was that fierce. The competition was that fierce. But the majority of the time, when these guys, the superstars, were losing, it wasn't because they was melting down. It was because their teams needed to get better. And it was different back in the days, in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. The next generation of guys that always came wanted to be better than the ones in the past. They didn't tear them down. They didn't say, oh, you didn't play nobody, man. I'm more athletic than you. I can run faster than you. My group of guys, you weren't doing nothing back then. No. They just wanted to break those guys' records. They wanted to win more championships. They wanted to be better than these guys. Right? The Magic Johnsons, he wanted to be better than Oscar Robertson. Kareem wanted to be better than Wilt. Jordan wanted to be better than Dr. J. Duncan said, no way, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to be better than Karl Malone. Jordan and Wilkins was competing against each other. Isaiah Thomas said he wanted to be the greatest point guard of all time. Shaq said he wanted to be the most dominant of all time. So these guys just didn't say it. These guys went out there and did it. Not by somebody being in a debate group or a debate show saying, yeah, he's better than this dude in the past. He would kill that dude in the past. No way. That dude's opponents aren't no good. That's why he was doing this. No. No, sir. These guys went out there and showed it on the court. And the only way they could show it on the court, they had to get out there and work hard on their fundamentals, their skills, their team leadership to be better than the guys before them. There was nobody telling you this on debate shows. So when we fast forward into those 2000s, the LeBron era, I'm not going to say all these guys. Some of these guys came out in the 90s, like the Duncans, the Kobes. They knew what it took to be better than the guys in the 90s. They played against those guys in the 90s. Fierce competition. And I think these guys coming into the 2000s, they just wasn't about that. They wasn't about that. They was getting beat in the Olympics by international plumbers. They were arrogant. Not real all-around players. So to me, at the end of the day, I think Skip Bayless is really a product of what needed to be done to save this NBA. Because it was going down fast as far as ratings. The skill level was going down fast. They didn't have great centers like that anymore. They didn't have rivalries like that anymore. And Skip Bayless was perfect to start to boost the NBA ratings back up. And he did. He was great at what he did, bombing on LeBron James, pretty good in football, got on people's nerves, but he told the truth back then. It was the truth. It was harsh. And Stephen A. Smith came aboard. Really respectable back then. Hasn't been respectable for about 10, 15 years. And, before Stephen A. Smith came on, you had people like, what was his name? Woody? Pretty funny guy. Pretty funny guy. But you needed somebody more challenging than Woody. What, Woody Page? So Stephen A. came along. And Stephen A., he was, tell it like it was, dude. But, he was more sympathetic for LeBron James. Because it's a debate show. You need somebody to, take one side. And, he kind of crushed LeBron James too at times on First Take. But he wasn't crushing him like Skip. And I don't know if I got time to tell this story. I'll probably do. So eventually, one has to go. And why does one have to go? And this is what I try to tell you. People aren't telling you these things, and I was the first one to tell you. Disney eventually bought Fox Sports. And this is the reason why all these people from ESPN ran over to Fox Sports. And you was thinking maybe back in the day, man, this is cool. We got a choice now. No, you don't. It's the same owners saying the same stuff. And Skip, he will run over there. Because Disney owns ESPN, and now they own Fox. Let's start to split these guys up that we got. The Stephen A. Smiths and Skips. We could take Chris Broussard over there. Eventually Colin Cowherd. And just, a lot of guys. And we can make more money. Why keep all these guys together? It's too powerful. We can make more money separating them. And act like you guys are, really seeing different opinions and different networks. No, same network. Or the same company owns two networks. So they broke Stephen A. Smith and Skip up. Payday. Time to make a whole bunch of money. Shannon Sharp will go over there. And they really needed Shannon Sharp over there to get Undisputed going. I mean, they could have put him on ESPN from the jump. But Stephen A. Smith, that show was already established. He was pretty decent back then. And they brought in, I forget this guy's name. I'll remember in a minute. And it was all good, bro. And we all know a few years ago, the lie that we was told. Couple lies, right? ESPN was not making the money. Fox, a lot of networks, was not making the money that they used to. And they had to start moving people again. The Jay and Will show was not doing too good. Keyshawn and Jay Will, I forget this guy's name, the Middle Eastern guy that used to be on Sports Center. Well, he couldn't carry the show as a narrator. So, of course, they're not going to come out and tell the public that. But they wanted to save the show, wanted to save that slot. That was kind of like a continuation of Mike and Mike or whatever like that. But it wasn't getting ratings because that guy, he couldn't carry the show. So what are they going to do? Well, they're not going to tell you, but this is entertainment. They can get more ratings. They can get more money if they just use their entertainment hand. Start a fake beef between Max Kellerman, right? And Stephen A. Smith. Start a fake beef between Shannon Sharp It's just funny how nobody was on this. It's just so easy. And your YouTubers won't even tell you. And Skip, a fake beef between Skip and Shannon Sharp. Because guess what? Undisputed was falling off the map. Nobody was watching it like that, and they couldn't pay these guys. Both of them continue paying these guys this kind of money. So Max, he had to go. And where did he go? He went right over to the Jay and Will show. This guy is so awful. He's so bad, annoying. He should be out of the industry. He ain't no good. No, he goes over there to the Jay Will and Keyshawn show to try to save it, to try to salvage it. He was okay, pretty good narrator. I thought they were gonna be able to save it. People are watching YouTube too much. So we all know what happens next. The other fake beef between Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. And if I can remember this guy's name, man. The Buffalo Bills player that hurt himself. Goodness gracious. Well, we all know who he is. I might remember his name in a minute. Skip said all this stuff like he was faking. Shannon Sharp acted like a woman. Didn't come to work the next day. And we all know the thing with Skip saying, put back on your glasses. You guys actually believed all this stuff, didn't you? This is entertainment. Come on now. It's the TV. You actually believe this stuff. So yes, this was not real. It was to get Shannon Sharp over the first tape because they could not pay both of these people for the ratings that Undisputed was bringing in. Remember, when Shannon Sharp went over there, he wasn't going full time. And you guys, man, he had his own show. Well, he had his own show when he was at Undisputed on his YouTube channel. They still can't even pay that man to be on there full time. They don't have the money. So he's on there in rotation, and it was the death of Skip's career. It was going to be over in 6 months, right? They don't have. What else would they put in that slot? You got to think about it. It don't matter how awful you think Skip is and how good the show is, as long as they can pay who they got on the show, and they don't have nobody to replace the slot, it's going to stay there. Don't feel sorry for Skip, because he's retiring this summer. He done made millions. Skip is in his 70s. Everybody is running around here criticizing him. Now people feel bad for him. Skip played his role. And he played his role good. He was he was the founding father of debate sports talk. A lot of people ain't making no money on YouTube or on TV in these debate shows without Skip. For better or worse. You can say what you want to say. Skip has made a lot of people a lot of money. And Skip can be credited, I wouldn't say for saving the NBA, but for keeping it afloat. For keeping his foot to the pedal to the metal on LeBron James. Now, let's talk about this. Remember when we said, right, DeMar Hamlin, after he said that stuff about DeMar Hamlin, and Shannon came back, Skip's tune kind of changed, didn't it? He started talking all this good stuff about LeBron. Did you notice that? He will rarely criticize this guy. He was the greatest driver of the basketball. He would say so much good stuff about this guy. I was like, wow. Because he knew Shannon was going, and he was trying to keep some viewers. Which was scripted. But he also told us at one time, and I thought many other times, which tells you it's all entertainment, dummies. You got to wake up. What reality do you live in? This man does not hate LeBron. This guy, in fact, loves LeBron. Let me tell you why. He really didn't like Kobe Bryant because he emulated Michael Jordan. And Skip love Michael Jordan to death. So when LeBron came along, like a lot of Jordan fans, they wanted to see this guy succeed. And what did LeBron do? Put up monster numbers every season with the Cavs. But in the playoffs, this guy melted down like cheese, candle wax, a house on fire. We just couldn't even believe it. The Olympics, the playoffs, all this stuff for years. We couldn't believe it. So it kind of hurt Skip. It kind of hurt him. And this is what Skip said one day. He goes, and this was recently. It's not like 10 years ago. He said, it doesn't matter if it's his anniversary, his birthday, his wife's birthday, some type of emergency, his honeymoon, whatever it is. If a LeBron James game is on and LeBron is playing, it has to wait. I said, what? He said, I have never missed a LeBron James game. Come again? What? Huh? Gotcha, didn't it? You guys thought this guy hated LeBron James. Didn't like LeBron James. Never gave LeBron James credit. It was all an act. He was disappointed at LeBron James. Whatever you guys want to think, he was there to see all these games. Not just to criticize him, which he could because that was his job and he saw all these games. This man likes LeBron James. Probably secondary to Michael Jordan. And where his deep criticism comes from is from LeBron always melting down, coming up short. It broke his heart. It broke Skip's heart. So, look, you're going to have to start using your own brain sometimes. But yeah, Skip, everybody owes a lot to Skip. YouTube channels, debate groups, all this stuff that has made hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars because of this guy. He sits at the throne. He might not be the best right now, but he was the best in the business at one time. And for years, he was the best in the business. And if he would have stopped 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of people won't be getting paid today. Or if it would have never worked out with Skip in the first place, from the beginning, a lot of guys wouldn't be getting paid. So I'm not going to try to tell you to bow down to Skip or kiss his feet, but that's the true story. Even a lot of these people like Shannon Sharp and stuff like that, Stephen A. Smith, they tell you, if it wasn't for Skip being harsh, being an asshole for starting the whole debate thing, they won't have a job doing it. They won't have millions of dollars. Tell me what you think.